What's going on, everybody? It's Kabaddi Keenan back here with another video where we are going to predict season outcomes for the teams. We're going to rank each team and list them on what I believe their projected finish is going to be. So whoever I think is going to come in last place, 12th, rank them all the way to who I think is going to come in first this season. So what we're going to do is, as the previous two videos with ranking defense and rating, as you can see here, I have it to where I have a complete team ranking based on their defensive and offensive rankings. So as we can see here, starting from bottom to top at a combined rankings, the overall ranking for each team, from the bottom we have Goodra Giants at 12. 11, we have the Paneri Paulton. 10, we have Jaipur Pink Panthers. 9th, Haryana Steelers. 8th, we have the Bengaluru Bulls. And right now, we got a tie at 6 between the Bang Delhi and Umumba. So you can choose to place them at either 7th or 6th, however you want to look at it, whichever one you view is more important. The Bang has a higher offensive ranking than Umumba, but Umumba has a higher defensive ranking than the Bang. So whichever one you kind of want to say might be more important to give them a 7th and 6th ranking, feel free to do that. 5th, we have Bengal Warriors. 4th, we got another tie. We got another tie at 3 between the Patna Pirates and Tamil Talivas. So as you can see, defensively, Patna is ranked higher, but offensively, Tamil is ranked higher. So again, sort of same thing. Whichever one you view is a little bit more important, you can choose to sort of slot them in at 4 and 3. Number 2, we have Telugu Titans, and at number 1, UP Otis. They kind of are to have the number 1 ranked offense and then have the number 2 ranked defense. Again, UP Otis are making a strong case for themselves this season. So with that, now that we can see what each team rank is given off of their combined defensive and offensive rankings, what we're going to do now is we are going to go over and have a little bit of fun here. That's right. So as you can see here, we got all the teams laid out at the bottom, and we have 6 different tiers essentially. We have the bottom tier, which is going to be the bottom 2 teams, 11th and 12th, and then we have the top tier, which is going to have the top 2 teams at 1 and 2. So I'm not going to actually go completely off of what that ranking was that we just saw, because again, some of those rankings can be a little fudge based on who's actually going to be starting and all that. So I'm not going to be going strictly off of that. I've let it help me guide my decision on what I think the ranking and overall finish is going to be for some of these teams, but it's not the end-all be-all for me, at least. So it helped guide and inform my decision, but at the end of the day, I do think there's some nuance in there, and I think just the way seasons play out and teams naturally, how seasons naturally unfold, there's going to be some surprises and there's going to be some disappointments. So I'm going to play with that a little bit here with that, but I don't think it's very hard for me to choose the team that I think is going to be in last place, which the team that I'm predicting comes in last place this season is the Bengaluru Bulls, coming in 12th. And that's not to say that I think that they're a bad team. I think they're actually going to be pretty competitive in most games. I'm sure there's going to be some games where they get blown out. I think that happens with every team, but I do think that they're largely going to be more competitive than they were last season, just given that I think their defense is going to be so good. And I actually like the direction that that team is going overall. I like that they sort of decided, you know what, let's just sort of rebuild. The tactic that they used last season did not work, failed horribly. And so I think this season they sort of revamped going into the auction, skewed heavily defensive, and so now that's what we're getting here. I think they're going in the right direction, but I still think that they're a season or two away from being a really, really good team. But for right now, I think they're going to come in last place. Coming in 11th, I'm going to stick with the ranking that they had across the board. They were ranked 11th. This is one where I'm actually kind of sticking with, the ranking that they had the entire time, which was 11th, both defensively and offensively, and that's going to be the Gujarat Giants. And I hate to do it because Shadlu is one of my favorite players, and to see him go from a championship team to a team that I just don't think have enough players to do well enough to get into the playoffs this season, I just think that they're going to struggle in most games. It's a heavy burden that he's going to have to carry, I think, for that team. They could surprise me. They could be the Patna Pirates for me last season, where I thought Patna Pirates were going to be terrible last season, and they were not. So Gujarat Giants could easily surprise me. Just having Shadlu on their team again, you never want to count them out because Shadlu has proven to be on winning teams. So who am I to doubt that the Gujarat Giants are now a winning team, despite what I think are some shortcomings that they have. All right, coming in 10th place, I think that the Bengal Warriors are going to come in 10th. And again, this isn't a slight to them. They got the player who scored the most raid points last season in Devank. But I do think that they're going to be, despite actually having a pretty middling ranking across the board. I think they were like 5th and 6th across the board. For some reason, I just foresee them sort of like struggling. I feel like they're going to be an up and down team, but that similar to the Bengal Bulls, I think that they're on the right track. I think that they're rebuilding. I believe they got Devank for 2 seasons, which was smart of them to do in the auction. I believe they got him for 2 years. So if they can sort of use this season as a sort of rebuild, and I really like Sushil Kambrakar, I think if they give him more opportunities, he can really step up. But for some reason, I just kind of get a weird feeling that this team is going to sort of, flutter in between in the middle and kind of drop towards the bottom at the end of the year. I don't know why they seem to always sort of have this thing where they start off pretty well, but then always kind of like, fall to the wayside as the season goes on. So I'm going to place them at number 9. Number 10, I'm actually going to say Debang Delhi. I think they fall off hard. They've been a very good team over the past 2-3 seasons. They've been a very good team over the past several seasons now. But I think losing Naveen and a lot of their other players, I just think that they're going to struggle this year. And they feel a lot like the Jaipur Pink Panthers, where I think offensively they got one guy in Ashim Malik, and that's all they got. Other than that, I don't know how good they're going to be offensively, and I don't think they're going to be that great defensively. I think they're going to struggle game in and game out. I'm sure there are going to be some games where they look like the old Debang Delhi, but I'm not counting on that. So that's why I have them placed so low right now. It's just because I don't see them doing very well. I feel like they're going to come at the end of the season. I'm sorry, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Shit. I feel like come the end of the season, that franchise is gonna be at a crossroads, and they're gonna have to decide whether to go for a complete rebuild, scrap the team, and just go on an all-in rebuild, or if they're gonna try and hang on to like some of their strong pieces and just try and piecemeal Frankenstein their way through to try and becoming great again. Because I just don't think that they're gonna have it this season. So that's why I have them at the 10 spot. 8th place, I think I think the Panera Paulton are going to come in 8th place, same as they did last season. I think while they're a very solid team, there's something about them where I feel like defensively is going to be their weak point. I think offensively they have enough to stay in games and stay in matches and give teams a run for their money. But I think their defense is going to be the thing that lets them down this season. Again, I could be wrong. This is all speculation. But I just feel like they're a team that's going to come up just short enough times that's going to see them hang in the middle and just miss out on the playoffs like they did last season. I'm glad that they got Islam and Namdar back. I think he's going to be an improvement and going to really help that team. But nonetheless, I think that they're a little bit of a weaker team than they were last season. Unless Sachin can really step his game up. If he can do that and Islam and Namdar can play like his healthy self at 100%, then they could definitely be a top 6 team and make the playoffs. But right now, I don't foresee it. So that's why right now I have them coming in 7th or 8th place. Coming in 7th place, I have the Jaipur Pink Panthers. I think they're just going to miss out on the playoffs. I don't think that they have enough offensively nor defensively to do what it takes to get into the playoffs. I think they're going to come up just shy, which I know is going to frustrate their owner because I know he hates missing out on the playoffs, as any team does, right? But him particularly, especially given his, social status, and then on top of that, given the fact that they're one of the most successful franchises in the league. I think there's only been, 2, maybe 3 seasons that they haven't made the playoffs. Other than that, they're a team that you consistently see in the top 6. So to see them miss out this year potentially, I think is going to be a sad thing. But nonetheless, I think they don't quite have enough offensively nor defensively to, again, make that top 6. I just think the teams that I'm going to list here in the top 6, I think they're just stronger across the board than the rest of these teams. And the team that I'm going to have coming in 6th place, I'm going to be Telugu Titans. I think they make the playoffs this season, and I'm happy for it because that team, out of any franchise that sort of deserves to see their team do well for a change, it's them. I was really happy last season to see them finally get out of the basement, get out of the gutter, find themselves out of that 12th place spot. And they just missed out on the playoffs. I really thought that they were going to make it last season, but they fell just short, which was, I was disappointed. I'm sure a lot of their fans were, but nonetheless, I think their fans were highly encouraged by what they did last season. And I think they're going to be rewarded again this season and sticking and being such loyal fans to that franchise. And I think they're going to make the playoffs. How far they go in the playoffs, don't know. I don't think they'll make it very far in the playoffs, but I do think they have a very good defensive team. As you can see, they were ranked pretty high defensively. And then offensively, they were ranked pretty high as well. They were consistently, they were overall the number 2 team. So I think you're going to see that play out here in the season. I don't think they're going to finish number 2, but nonetheless, I think they have everything they need to be a top 6 team and make the playoffs. So that's why I have them at 6. Number 5, I have Umumba. I'm really looking forward to the squad. I think that they can be. I think that they're a dark horse this season. I think of any team that's a dark horse, I think it's them. I think that they have a sneaky good offense. If Ajit Chauhan can continue what he did last season, if he can pick right up where he left off, dangerous. If Amir Zarfadanish can regain what we saw in him in season 10, I think that they could be an incredible team offensively. And I think defensively, Umumba's always good defensively. If any of you are familiar with the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a team that's just sort of known for being very good defensively year in and year out. Yeah, there might be some seasons where they're not as great, but typically you can always expect them to be really good defensively. And I think that same thing goes here for Umumba. I think they're just that team that just knows how to put together a good defense and plays well defensively, and it's always sort of their offense. I feel like, and I'm not familiar how they were earlier in the league, like seasons 1 and 2 when they won, but I do think that they're just going to be a really strong team, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this season, and I think they're going to come in 5th. Now, the team that I think they're going to come in 4th, I have the Haryana Steelers. I think they're going to fall off a little bit from what they were last season. I think that's to be expected when you lose Shatloo, the MVP. So I think they're weaker defensively, obviously, than they were last season. I think that's going to be their point of struggle. But I do think offensively they're just as good, if not a little bit better, given that a lot of these players now have some experience to go off of. So I think while they are going to fall off, I don't predict the fall off to be very much. Now, they very well could turn into the Paneri Polton where they won the previous season and kind of completely fall off and don't make the playoffs this season. That could be them, but I don't quite foresee that. Given some unforeseen circumstances or injuries, I think that they're going to be just as solid as they were last season. Now, the team that I think is going to come in 3rd place are the Putnam Pirates. I think they pick up kind of right where they left off as well. The only thing about them is obviously they lost Devonk, the number 1 Raider, last season. So that's a lot of points that they're going to have to replace. I am praying that the reemergence of Sadaka happens this season, because he completely disappeared last season, season 11. He was sort of a breakout player in season 10. I don't know what happened last season to where they completely went away from him. I mean, obviously it worked for them last season, so you can't really blame them, but they are going to have to rely on him this season. There's no way around it. You got Ian Lochab, who came back, which is great. He was a top 10 Raider last season, so hopefully he can continue where he left off. And then they bring in Maninder Singh, or Maninder, who had been with the Bengal Warriors for so long. So even though I don't think he's quite what he used to be, I think he might still have enough juice left to really get this team to perform really well. And I think their defense is just as good as they were last season, if not, again, better. So I think Patna Pirates are going to be a very strong team this season, and I think they're going to come in 3rd, barring whatever playoff stuff happens. Team that I think is going to come in 2nd, Tamil Talibas. I think their offense is insane. I think they're going to be a top 2 offense. I think when you have the players that they have in Pawan, Arjun Deshwal, and Narinder Kandola, I think with those 3 players, you're going to have a top tier, offense in the rating category. Unless some of them get hurt, which, as we know, Pawan's known to get hurt over the past couple seasons. But if he can stay healthy, this team's going to be dangerous offensively. And I think their team is good defensively as well. So I think that Tamil is going to be a top-tier team. And the only team that I think is going to be better than them are the UP Otis. As we saw in the rankings, they're number 1 offensively, number 2 defensively. They are the strongest team, hands down, coming into this season. And the only team that I think, if all goes well for them, if all goes accordingly, and they play how they should play on paper, the only team that I think can hold a candle to them are the Tamil Talibas. I think these are going to be your top 2 strongest teams throughout the season, and I don't think it's going to be close, particularly with the UP Otis. I have more confidence in them being a strong top 1-2 team than I do the Tamil Talibas, but nonetheless, this is my prediction going into the season that these 2 teams are going to be your front runners for most, if not all season, and I think UP Otis are going to be head and shoulders kind of above the rest. In all honesty, I think it's their season to lose. I think they're going to win their first championship this season, but I think it could come down to the Tamil Talibas, who could be in the running to win their first championship as well. So if we get a final that features these 2, I think it's going to be a great final. And it's going to be interesting to see if these 2 do make the final, which one is going to walk away with their first championship for their franchise. So this is my ranking for what I think, how the standings are going to shake out come season's end. You guys, I'd be curious to know what you guys think about this. If you guys think I'm completely off here, or if you think there's some, some of my picks make sense, please let me know. I'm really curious to know if you guys think that my picks are completely off, if my ranking is completely off right now. And if you guys want to put what you think the final standings are going to be in the comments below, please do that, because I want to see that as well. So let me know what you guys think of this video. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and I will catch y'all in the next one.